I've got to get complete with you because I'm not quite complete yet. Because there's some things that we haven't finished. You see, the Greek gods were sitting around their table, and they were contemplating what they were going to do with the greatest power in the universe. And they knew that Poseidon couldn't hide it in the deepest depths of the sea. They knew that Orion couldn't put it in the space, and they knew that Olympus couldn't put it on the tops of the mountains. And they really didn't know what to do it until a brave god named Hypnos, the god of sleep, stepped forward and he said, I've got an idea. Let's take the greatest power in the universe and put it inside the humans. They'll never think to look there. And you know, I think it's that power that's inside us that all of us have brief moments of. We have glimpses of that. And it's about taking those glimpses and stretching them out. And I'm hoping you've had a couple of those here today and yesterday. I know that sometimes when you hang out with people who challenge you and give you new thoughts, you sometimes create new thought patterns and you come up with new ideas. And I hope that's happened. It certainly happened with me when I hung out with Marcus Bach. I mean, let me tell you, that guy, he pushed a lot of my buttons and got me to think outside of my scope of reality many times. Our Wednesday meetings were awesome. And let me tell you, they worked too. They worked powerfully well. Whoo, man, did they work. I mean, literally, I found myself starting to manifest things like crazy. Like, in fact, I started manifesting things I started manifesting things you wouldn't believe. My business got really busy, and the money just started to flow. You could probably just like give them a row and have them pass it down manually. This is going to take a lawful time if you guys pass them out one by one. I'm giving you one final gift here, by the way, in hopes that this inspires you. Some of you were asking, well, how do I make that money, the money, the money, the money? So I'm going to give you your first million right now. Here's the thing. You know, there were... I remember the guy, the printing guy, he said that the world of serendipity put $600,000 in his pocket that year alone. I will tell you that that book alone, that one book, not just the book, but meeting with Marcus on a regular basis, did more for my pocketbook than probably anything in my life. And I don't even know if I could put a financial value on all of those words of wisdom that he gave me. But I do know this. I know what the value is of just one good idea. I know that there's just one good idea could be worth millions. And I don't know what it is for you, by the way. I don't know what that one good idea will be for you. But I do know that there's one here this week. And maybe it wasn't even something I said. Maybe it was something you heard from one of your neighbors, the questions or something like that. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down, all that stuff's in your workbook, by the way. There we go. I'd like you to write down one thing on that bill. One idea that you think could make $1 million for you. I don't know what it was. I mean, maybe it could be something about, you know, Leonardo da Vinci's definition of genius, or the rule of emanation. Maybe it'd be something about creating a vacuum. And I'd love it if you just keep that bill with you. I don't even call it a bill. Keep that note with you, right? Keep that note with you. Put it in your wallet. And maybe it'll serve as a reminder for you when you find yourself going out to spend foolishly. Go, oh, that's 10% I'm foolishly spending. Maybe it'll tell you to put that money back in your pocket. Or maybe when you're going out to buy something, you realize it's a good investment, you'll actually spend more. I don't know. But what's the value of one good idea? Take a moment right now to just write down one thing you got out of this seminar that if you took it with you and you really used it, you lived with it, it would make such a difference for you in your life. Can I tell you what my $1 million idea was from Marcus? Okay. Because I was going to tell you anyway, so thanks for saying yeah. Here was my $1 million idea. My $1 million lesson that I got from Marcus. And this thing, it's easily made me $1 million, let me tell you. Here's what it was. Are you ready? Like I said, things started working really well. I started getting really busy. And as a result, I didn't have time to see him every Wednesday, right? So instead of being every Wednesday, it was like every other Wednesday, and then it went from every other Wednesday to like once a month Wednesdays, and then it went from like once a month Wednesdays to like every other month Wednesday, and then I kind of went to whenever I could get around to it Wednesday, and all of a sudden Marcus became one of my incompletions. Like I hadn't called him for so long, I felt bad about it. I was actually dreading calling him up. And this is like the most loving guy you'll ever meet. Like I don't know what I was afraid of, but I didn't call him. And I don't know, I think it was about, I went like 3.5, maybe 4 months, maybe even longer, it could have been 6, I don't know, before I called him up. And when I called him up, he didn't answer the phone, actually, this other guy answered the phone. And I said, hey, is Marcus there? And he said, who's this? And I said, this is Topher, who's this? And he goes, oh, Topher, hi, this is Richard. That's his nephew. And he said, let me go get Lorraine. Went and got Lorraine. And Lorraine said, hey, Topher, how are you? I said, good, what's going on? And she goes, well, Marcus died. And it was that day he gave me my $1 million idea. I realized that opportunities are temporary. That in this game of life, the bell's going to blow. And I realized that my avoidance in calling him was just a metaphor for all of the other things I was putting off in life. Let me tell you something. If there's something you want to do in life, don't put it off. Do it. If you can't do it right now, schedule a time to do it and then hold yourself to it. And I got to tell you, that was a pretty painful lesson I got from Marcus, but it was also one of the best. And by the way, I still hear from him all the time. We check in all the time, literally. In fact, do you guys remember the movie Dead Poets Society? Where Keating was sitting there and he had the students looking at the trophy cage and he says, what do all these athletes have in common? They're worm food. They were filled with hopes and dreams one day and then life got in the way. And you can hear their ancestors and their ghosts telling you, seize the day. And it's kind of like that. It's like this creepy thing, but I can almost hear Marcus in the background. I can almost hear him giving me advice from time to time, telling me to take action. Things are temporary. Things don't last. Opportunities, you got to jump on them.